Greetings and welcome to Understanding the Young Child, a free parenting and educator and teacher workshop relating to topics about children's development. Today, we're going to be looking at children and having information to help educators when it comes to child protective services. Um, when we're looking at development and we're looking at children, I like to look at it in terms of the pies: physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development. All these domains are linked together in order to support children's development. So when we're looking at social emotional learning, we're looking at supporting that development. I like to separate the two. So, social development and emotional development, they go hand in hand. However, when it comes to intentional experiences and activities to support the emotional and the social, I look at it separate. There are aspects of social and emotional development that I look at in terms of competencies. And when we're talking about child development and we're talking about children exposed to predators, for example, I was recently attending a conference at the National Association for the Education of Young Children in Washington, D.C., and I got some information about how do we protect our children from predators. Predators can be anyone who wants to violate a child, who wants to take a child's innocence away. So when we're looking at the development of children, we have to be able to talk to them about the body, the physical, and talking to them using words that represent the physical body so that they know what this encompasses and how it is impacted and how they can communicate that to an adult. So we have relationships and emotional well being. So the emotional support and security provided by positive relationships contributes in many different ways to young children's learning success. So, for example, children who have secure relationships with their parents develop greater social skills with adults and peers and greater social and emotional understanding of others, show more advanced moral development, and have a more positive self concept. So, securely attached children also have been found to be more advanced in cognitive and language development and to show greater achievement in school. So, when we're looking at the example that I just gave in terms of understanding others and developing greater social skills with adults is a result of positive relationships. How can we support parents who may not be privy to the information and they may be doing things unaware that may be impacting the child in a negative way? So when we look at the aspects of social and emotional development, we want to continue to have secure attachments and emotional development. When we're talking about emotional development, we're talking about secure attachments. We have some theories that are aligned with this in terms of insecure and secure attachment, avoidant, and these different terms that may come up when we're talking about emotional development. So, for example, when we're talking about intellectual development, we're talking about language, we're talking about looking at how language is developed and the opportunities for increasing the mind experience. So, when we're looking at each of these slices of the pie, as I call them, physical, intellectual, emotional, and social, we want to consider definition of this. In previous Understanding the Young Child workshop sessions, I defined each of these. So you can go back to my channel and look at that video about defining these slices of the pies. So when we're looking at fostering social and emotional development, generally speaking, learning environments that are well structured and predictable provide support for children's self regulatory capacities, and their secure and warm relationships with educators will benefit children's social and emotional development, as can some curricular and interventions designed to promote social and emotional learning. So, what does that mean? We have to create predictable environments. So we have to give children a routine. This is what we do, but also let them know that they must prepare for the unexpected, because unexpected things may occur that we did not predict. So when we're looking at predictable experiences and environments and routines, we want to be able to be transparent with children and let them know that unexpected things may happen. However, sticking to the script is an important part of this, because you get to align the routines with children's expectations. So when you have created a routine, children expect this is what's going to happen, and they are better supported through that. So, this is one way of fostering social and emotional development. So, these supports in the learning environment can also be a buffer for the negative effects children experience as a result of chronic stress and adversity. Okay. So, however, such children, as well as other children facing challenges with their social and emotional development, may have other specific needs for support. So, child mental health consultants and referrals to specialized services can be resources for educators in supporting children's social and emotional development. Consultants can provide educators with guidance on classroom management and instructional practices for all children, as well as individualized consultation for particular children based on classroom observations. So when we, as consultants, I am a family life educator, certified family life educator. I'm also working with the Department of Education on emotional wellness for children and teachers. So when we are looking at individualized consultation for particular children, we have to base this on classroom observations. So when I am in the classroom or at a school and I am observing a classroom, there are certain things that I'm looking at, and I base it around physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development. It's called the pies. So how is children engaged physically? How are they engaged intellectually? How are they engaged emotionally? And then how are they engaged socially? So we're looking at each one intentionally. So what I like to do is I like to take the pies into my observations, and that a way I get to really get to see how children are engaging in the classroom, how teachers are engaging with them, etc. So there are competencies for educators who work with children from birth through age 8. Now, there's core knowledge base, there's practices to help children learn, there's working with diverse populations of children, developing and using partnerships, and continuously improving quality of practice. Okay, so these are knowledge and competencies for educators of children birth through 8. Then we have knowledge and competencies for leadership in settings with children birth through 8. So we have practices to help children learn, assessment of children, fostering a professional workforce, assessment of educators, developing and fostering partnerships, and organizational development and management. So these are six different competencies for leadership in settings with children. Okay. Um, this is a great resource. It's called Transforming the Workforce for Children Birth Through Age 8, a Unifying Foundation. This is from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. And it's from the Board on Children, Youth, and Families, the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine in Washington, D.C. They're at www.nationalacademies.org, and you can find more information from there. We're going to end now on this note that it's important to listen and to learn children's behavior, because that is how we know what's going on in their lives. How they behave is how we're going to find out what's going on. So when we are looking at behavioral development, we have to also consider the importance of family engagement, parent involvement, because as I read earlier, those relationships within the home, once they're strengthened and they're built, they're they allow the children to form social relationships with adults as well. There's a few things I'm going to leave you with. It's help. I need to increase family involvement in my class. So, for teachers, if you are trying to involve your families, there are 27 ways. There are more than that, but there are 27 ways to increase family involvement in education. And I'm going to just share a few. This is from a site that I found by Mia Mac Meekin. And this is from a site called An Ethical Island. Interesting. I'm on an island here. So we have 27 ways. So we're going to end our Understanding the Young Child with this 27 ways to increase family involvement in education. Online, you can foster an online presence, post comments, homework, requests, and inspiration. You can meet the family in a social setting, get to know what interests them. So social settings can be school events, it can be community events. So these are social settings where you can meet the family. Welcome. Create a welcome letter that tells a family a little about you. This can be in a Google Doc where they scan the QR code and they can get the welcome letter. So it's not a lot of paper. Add a photo of your newsletter, emails, or other communications. People work better with the face. So if families are seeing the face behind their teacher, their children's teacher, this is more apt to getting increasing the family involvement in your class. Asking, more people volunteer when asked. It's always good to ask. Consolidate the parent teacher meetings or other requests for all the children in the family. Okay. So in other words, you consolidate the parent teacher meetings for all the children. So if there are multiple children in this classroom or in the school, you can gather them all together in a meeting as opposed to having them separated and meeting. Then the other thing is a checklist. Create a checklist of several ways a family can get involved. Ask the family to fill it out. So, creating a checklist of several ways the family can get involved, they can say how they can get involved with this checklist, okay? And you can ask the family to fill it out. Make personal calls to the family. This is a very important one. Study. Send home studies that show family involvement has an impact on learning. This is a really good one. It's important to share information and knowledge with your families. It could be a research study that just came out about family involvement and the impact of that and the outcomes of it. That could be shared with your families. Partner, create a two-way communication with the family, present it as a partnership. So you can create these partner programs within your classroom that you can create this two-way communication with the family. All right. Buddy, create a buddy system, much like a carpool shares driving, share involvement commitments with another family. So it's important to create a buddy system. So families, and you can do this by having a family night 3 times a year. In the beginning, middle, and end of the year, you're having this family engagement in your classroom. Camify, create a game out of involvement, or this is gamify. Give family points or badges. Create a game out of this. So every time they respond to the teacher, they get a point. Okay, so the family group creates points. It's a point system, and they can, if they get a certain amount of points, they can actually, have some kind of family gathering or family night that the teacher, then gives them. So gamify. Time, incorporate, take out, that's kind of cut off, but I'm going to, okay, time, be sensitive to the time families have to get involved. Make it short and sweet. So you don't want to have a long winded situation. You want to be able to have a short and sweet um, time with the families. Okay. Incorporate what the family does for a living. So if the family is a construction worker, incorporate that. So incorporate what the families, and how do we know what the families are doing for a living is by sending home a demographic study in your classroom, for example. So you have families fill out quickly what they do, or you can ask them, when they drop their children off, some way you can find this information out, find the information out. Take out. Create take home projects that you need done for parents to do on their time off. So take home projects that can be done with families for parents to do on their time off. We're going into a holiday season now. This is a perfect time for engaging families while their children are out of school. Um, okay, so we're almost done. We have a couple more family engagement tips. Share the highlights of the student's day. So, whatever the highlight of the student's day is, share it in a note in some kind of format that you can give to parents. Plan events and meetings well in advance. This is a good thing because you want to have parents involved. So, in order to do that, you need to plan ahead so that they can plan ahead, because we know parents are working and families are busy. So plan ahead. Thank. Tell the family thank you in any way you see fit. It can be a button, it can be a little note, it can be something that you're showing thankfulness to the families, okay? Inventory. Take a family inventory. Find out if the family members have any special skills you can call upon. So this goes in connection with incorporating what the family does for a living. So your inventory and incorporating is important, to find out if family members have any special skills that you can call them to help you in the classroom. Text. Use 21st century technology to communicate with families. Text, Skype, FaceTime. FaceTime your families. Build that relationship with them, because that away, because we're in the 21st century with technology, we want to be able to build on that. Okay, the next one is fun. Conduct fun interactive meetings, play games, relax, talk. And the next one is safety. Foster a safe location free from family conflict and other hard times. We're almost finished because I have to go move my Jeep from the parking area. Team build. Build a cohesive unit of all families. Create an environment they want to come to. Brainstorm with families. Ask why people aren't involved. Ask them that. Host. Ask parents to host different events. Help recruit workers. Raise up. Build trust with a few leading families. Up to help. Raise them up to help engage families. And then breathe. At the end of the day, everyone is tired. Once you have done all, you can relax and breathe. Okay, so here ends Understanding the Young Child for December 20th, 2022. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, children need protection.